What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for August 11th, 2025. 4.3 is moving along nicely with a ton of ship updates because, well, a new ship is coming. Surprise, surprise. We have two tech preview announcements today, and finally, the Resource Drive extension was announced. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike. Stop by and say hi. If you haven't yet, I always enjoy seeing you guys over there. We have quite a bit to get through this week, but before we do, let me share with you today's sponsor. Thank you to Pork Bun for sponsoring this video. There's an exciting partnership from Pork Bun and Proton, changing the game for secure domains and email hosting. You may already know that Pork Bun is a great place to get your domain name because of their low prices and incredible support, but now they've gotten even better by partnering with Proton to protect your workflow end-to-end with Proton Mail at a special price. You're getting best-in-class solutions from both providers. Whether you're an entrepreneur, freelancer, developer, or just someone who wants a more secure online presence, your email is more than just a way to communicate. It's how you build trust. That's why Pork Bun now makes it easy to connect your custom domain to Proton Mail, giving you email that's private, reliable, and totally secure. With end-to-end encryption, your conversations stay between you and your recipients. No prying eyes, no worries. Plus, Proton Mail works across all your devices, so you can manage your inbox anywhere. Ready to level up your email game? Get your domain at Pork Bun and then add Proton Mail to get Proton Mail Essentials or Professional plans starting at just $5.99 per month for the first year. It's easy to do, and it starts at porkbun.com. So if you're interested, head over to porkbun.com/saltymike25, link is in the description, and get a secure, reliable email that protects your privacy from Proton and Pork Bun. Thank you as always, guys, for supporting the videos through our sponsors, and with the bills all paid, let's jump into those patch notes. All right, nothing on Monday, so we start out on Tuesday with a 4.3 PTU, and yeah, a lot of Onyx fixes. They want these to look as great as it is narrative and immersive, but yeah, there was a lot of lighting weirdness in the lobby when entering, but the engineering section is starting to look really nice, and then oddly, the lobby looked really good when I left the engineering area. So there's new signage there, there's light fixes, it looks really eerie and good, but then we got light fighter polish here. The big things here were the adjustments of a lot of ships' maneuverability to kind of take them down a little bit, it seemed. The arrow seemed to get a bit of a buff, while the blade got an insane buff to its capacitor. This thing is huge now and can fire a ton of shots. A lot of people think if it stays, it will be the ship to fly in PvP. Then Wednesday, there was another 4.3 PTU, and a lot of Onyx polish was listed here. The music, the mission payouts are much different. It seems slightly more on the intro I got paid, and then a lot less in the million credit one that we saw before. The lobby on the entrance still has that issue when you're entering, but the signage again is looking really good and super useful, so you kind of know where to go and what you're doing. And generally, it's starting to look how you would expect. I feel like for a look perspective, it's got to be nearly done here, right? It's just giving what it probably should be, and hopefully we're moving on from that. And then next, they added a number of ships to the ship shops because of the pressure from the community, and rightfully so. We talked about this last week. The Golem has been added. Again, it's a starter ship. It should be. The Fortune, kind of same thing. Guardian, maybe debatable there. And then the Hornet Ghost is another debatable one because it's like specialty ship. But the Tracker was not listed, and all of these are in the in-game shops, but they're spread all around. So, it took me a little while to find the Ghost. I think that was at ArcCorp and so on and so forth. But most of those are everywhere in my experience so far, Pyro and Stanton included. And then they did say that they added dynamic snow to Bloom, but I haven't been able to see it yet, as any clouds that look like they should have precipitation didn't. And then when I went to the poles where there should be snow, there are 2 poles of like ice-capped poles on Bloom. I didn't see any clouds. So if you guys saw it and it looks really good, let me know, but unfortunately, I tried a few times, never saw it. Thursday, another 4.3 PTU. Starting out right away, they finally addressed the 3 hairstyles that were teased for a couple weeks now. Some pretty basic hairs, like we've said, but some of you may want to use them, so there they are. But the biggest thing is the update. In the update is actually the loading screen. We have a new one. On the left, you see them confirming the extension for resource drive with some lore. In the middle, it's more ASD lore and what's going on there. But on the right, we see the new Kruger ship that has been teased since SCL a long time ago. So it's very Star Wars. They finally nailed the lighting in the lobby for the Onyx locations when entering, so that looked properly eerie on my first time going in. There are a number of balance changes to the health pools of the Gladius and the Hawk as well, and a bit of sniper balance to just make it fire a little bit slower, but it is still just as powerful for a one-shot charge. Friday, another 4.3 PTU, starting out with testing focus. The ladder improvements were brought back, nothing crazy here. I'm not sure why they keep coming and going. I haven't heard any details on that. And then the Talon got its light fighter tuning this patch, and it seems buffed in every single way. Stealth is really stealthy now. I see this being strong in maybe larger group fights, as it's still not maybe the best light fighter, but if you're constantly popping on and off radar, that might be an advantage to you. And they tuned the blade down, thankfully, as I think we stated earlier that it kind of needed to happen in that Tuesday patch, right? And then lastly, they removed the Volt Rifle from the in-game shop, so they want this to be a specialty thing that you find. That was the patch notes this week. Again, 4.3 feels really good in the sense of I don't feel too many problems. But guess what? 4.2.1 actually felt fairly similar, and then almost when the patch was getting ready to come out, that's when we noticed all the issues. Freight elevator issues were always there. That was something that is 100% on CIG to have dealt with months ago, but the mission problems where they weren't showing up, those propped up in the last, like I think in the release candidate patches. So yeah, that is going to be something to keep an eye on. But with that, let's move into the monthly report. All right, and as always, we'll start out with AI features, and this actually might matter now. At the top, they mention a focus on a new AI boss fight. We currently have no indication of what this might be, but I assume it is the original Valakar fight. That's me, or maybe just a new creature or something, or maybe it's a character, like a human. Maybe, we'll see. Do you think it's a new creature? Maybe the Pyro Crab? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Then the AI Game Intelligence Team. This is a short one. They just mentioned work on the Mission System V2. I don't know how significant this is. I don't know what it is, but given the state of missions this year, anything to improving the system, I feel, is worth mentioning. Animation, they start out here with a new enter-exit animation for a ship. I'm assuming it's what we're seeing in the Thursday loading screen. And then ship art. We start out with, in the EU, with the Anvil Paladin, had its gray box review, where it had some struggles with its turrets. And then the Ironclad had an update of its navigational flow, like around the interior of the ship, and both variants are in progress, with the Assault making sure that they highlight its key differences, which is firepower, right? So 4 unannounced vehicles are also in progress. I assume one of the ones is that Kruger ship. And then the North American team starts with the Apollo, which is nearing completion. A lot of people are excited for this, but without medical gameplay really seeming like it's going to get any sort of an update, what's there to be excited about? I don't know. The Perseus is also in its Lot 0 phase, which is one of those last things. It'll probably be a bit longer because it's a really big ship, but it's looking really cool. And more pre-production of the Drake Kraken. And then for core gameplay, this is where there's a ton of stuff this month. They start out with saying that they found the issues with the freight elevators from this patch. But yeah, we've told you about them for a really long time already. I've already ranted on this in my React for the monthly report, so go see that if you want to see me really upset about this. But it's like they only just opened their eyes. They improved their debug tools and hopefully deal with this in the future better for other things, but we know you won't because it's just been this way for 13 years. Why would it be any different? There's also the work that we're seeing in 4.3 about contracts being overrun, which is trying to spread us out a little bit more so we aren't waiting for contracts constantly. And then they've already began the tech work for refreshing inventory and crafting. They decided to reevaluate the scope of the first release. And we all know what that means. More tier 0, very little depth, disappointing, frustrating, and yeah, that's I'm very nervous about this now, because this is something that I was like, okay, I could deal with a year like this if after this it's crafting, or I could deal with this if hopefully we'll eventually get crafting, because that makes a lot of crafting should make a lot of the gameplay loops that you're doing more meaningful and all that stuff. But if it's tier 0 slop like we've been getting, it won't, and the wait doesn't seem worth it then. So you've had a year to work on this. It is literally taking components, putting them in a blueprint, and popping something out. All of the assets already exist. I don't know why this is so hard, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. Hacking seems very much in progress, as they are looking on how to kind of teach us how to do it. So that probably means that it's fairly far along and somewhat set in stone if they're going to be making a sort of guide about it, right? Next, they finally let us know that they're preparing the engineering tech preview. The rest of the content here is somewhat self-explanatory, but we also need to play it to see how it works, right? Changes to power pools is something, thruster temps mattering, damage balance modifiers, and fuses becoming more difficult to kill is all sorts of the work that they've been doing in probably internal testing to find out how they want this to go. They spent some time on loot and made it twice as performant, and this is something that we really needed. The system itself is okay, but the worst part was a performance. If I click on something, I want it in my backpack right away, right? Next is an interesting one, item expiry. Things like CZ keys might have I don't know, a 24-hour timer. I'm just making that up. So you have to farm them and turn them in almost right away, and that might give reasons for Wicklow turn-ins or something like that, or other barter turn-ins is when they do time out, that you might have somewhere to put them and use them. Quantum travel is still being worked on. I honestly would be happy for an entire new library of quantum travel bugs, as I'm sick of the ones that we currently have. So I'm very much looking forward to that. For FPS scanning, we can perceive when we've been scanned, and the AI can as well. More on the transport refactor, they just look like they're allowing us to choose where we might go more directly with the elevators. I'm not sure. And then moving on from core gameplay into economy. Sadly, I'm not including this because it says much of anything. It says the same thing they've been saying for a while. They mentioned a ton of back-end work on the SCL a while back, but nothing really fruitful here yet. So just kind of frustrating, right? And then narrative. I missed this in my React, but the last paragraph is the good stuff here, in my opinion. There will be a new mission giver that's a ship seller. So kind of more Wicklow type stuff, but hopefully getting a bit away from it. And yeah, just maybe a little bit less painful to work with on certain ships, and Wicklow makes sense for others, or I don't know what their plans are. Online tech is background tech, which is being worked on for blueprint libraries. So again, sounds like they're actively thinking about crafting right now, but it also means that it could be worked on for I don't know. I'm skeptical. So it seems like it could be Citizencon is soon, and all of this work is just that normal, nearly but not entirely faked stuff that they do when they show and tell, and then do nothing for years like we've seen for the last 10. So I'm going to be skeptical on this and assume that a lot of the stuff is for Citizencon, and it probably won't end up in game, but man, am I looking forward to comments saying, see, Mike, I told you it would come, and I want to be totally wrong on this one, but it's hard to be because it's CIG. And then UI, this is being mentioned because they're focused on the UI inventory that we were shown at SCL. For me, it's less about the look and the more about the function of the current system. So hopefully the UI work is also about the functionality. So that's all we got. No video updates this week, so we're going to go right into other updates. All right, and the sneak peek came on time this week, and it looks straight up like the cockpit view of the Kruger ship. I think this is going to sell simply because, based on its looks, it just looks different compared to anything we've ever seen up to this point, and I think that's enough to get people to check it out, at least for sure. Who knows if it will be good, but they seem to be doing a ton of light fighter polish all of a sudden. which, you know, in time will tell us if that polish was just to make the game better or to fit this thing into the lineup. Then subscriber promotions. We have a subscriber promotion theme towards the next event, or the previous one, I guess. We have an ASD refinery suit for the $10 sub. I hope that one day has a purpose, like, you know, heat reduction or something. And then the $20 sub is a Valakar specimen in a tank. Like I say every month, this would have been a great reward for the events that we're doing. And lastly, the two come in a package you can buy on the store. Ship of the month is the Ares Ion. If you're a $20 sub, you also get the Inferno. For dev posts, tech preview is the first thing. Wikipedia put in the MOTD of Evocati that we're getting a tech preview. 8 months into the year of playability, we're finally doing the things that we're supposed to make it more playable. And it's not engineering, though. This is interesting. It's AI updates, so tons of things that we've seen in the monthly reports may make it into this. And Vulcan, I don't care. All is welcome, and I'm really happy to see this. I don't care that it's not engineering. This is what we wanted them to do. This is what they said that they would do, and this is the expectations they set, and I'm glad they're doing it. Resource Drive is extended is the next one. So Niku posted on Reddit to let us know that Resource Drive is going to be extended, and we all know it had to happen, but now it's official. He also stated that it should last the entire 4.3 cycle, and then in just a short reply, he said at least a few weeks, or a few weeks, something like that. So expect 4.3.1 not a month later after 4.3 is out, maybe quite quickly. So we'll see. And then magical teleporting is mentioned in another dev post. They fixed the bug that caused players who were trespassing on other player ships to be teleported what seemed to be like way too much, right? It basically broke any chance for this sandboxy and, you know, stealing of ships and stuff. But on the other side, given outposts are completely open, this was actually quite nice to just be able to load your ship. Nowadays, it's like a raft is essential, because if you open your ship's hangar, it's just, you're so exposed, it's so bad that there has to be give and take here, but there also has to be the ability to steal ships for players as well, so it's a tough one. So I hope they understand that the open freight elevators and armistice zones are horrible, and I don't know what the best solution is, but I don't think it's to change the way we do trespassing on ships, and I don't think it's to change the ships entirely, so we should probably just change the outposts. And that's where I'll leave it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, all the links to all the sources for all this information is down below, so check that out if you guys haven't yet. And check out Pork Bun. They are our new sponsor, so yeah, we want to show them some love. And so thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next week.